podcast listener. I'm excited to share this episode with you to take you behind the scenes of a client's recent launch strategy so that you can hear what worked and how we created a live launch strategy she loved to making launching her course easy, fun, and oh so profitable. Whether you are gearing up for a launch in the next few months or you are just starting to think about how consistent revenue from a digital course could change your life, this episode will give you a behind-the-scenes look at one simple launch strategy that delivered big results. Interested in hearing more? Awesome. Let's dive in. Okay, my friend, we are going to have some fun as I dive into what worked, what could be improved, and what happens next of a client's recent digital course launch. So now is a great time to mention that I broke all of these things up into two-part series because now that my client has had 2 live launches under her belt and successfully reached her goals both times, she is ready to set her program up on Evergreen. So I will cover how we are transitioning to Evergreen in part 2 next week in episode 25. Because there is a lot that goes into transitioning a profitable live launch to Evergreen to get similar results consistently. And including all of that in this episode will result in my voice literally going hoarse and you possibly tuning me out because it is too much information for one episode. So hopefully you are saying thank you, Liz, for breaking up the lessons learned and what's next into 2 episodes. All right, so to clarify, in this episode, I am going to cover the how, what, and when of her launch so that you can see how we created an easy and repeatable live launch strategy and funnel for her to use again and again. This particular client live launched her program once before on her own, and she plans to live launch with special bonuses 2 times per year going forward. In between, we are adding an evergreen option so that she can make consistent revenue during the months her live launch offer is not available. But before I get ahead of myself, let me explain what the difference is between a live launch and an evergreen offer. A live launch is an offer that you invite your audience to take advantage of only a few times per year. You might live launch once in the beginning of the year in, let's say, February, and then again later in the year in September, for example. You are showing up live, meaning you are actually doing your webinar or challenge in real time and then inviting people to join your program or membership during a dedicated enrollment period. A lot of times, an enrollment period is also called open and closed cart days because you open enrollment on one day and then let's say 7 to 8 days later, you end the enrollment period. And anyone that wants to join your offer or take advantage of the offer that you presented to them during that webinar or challenge has ended, they won't be able to enroll until next time. So if someone wants to get into your program on, let's say, day 9, and your cart has closed, they will have to wait until the next enrollment period. If you have kids or you ever applied to college, think of the enrollment or open and close cart days for your digital course like you would think of the period of time you have to enroll your child in daycare or preschool, or maybe the days you were eligible to submit your college applications. After the deadline has closed, you are out of luck. The same goes for the dates of your live launch. An evergreen offer is when you convert an offer that you have previously live launched a few times to an automated process. That means your offer is available every single day through an automated funnel, and people can always purchase that offer. Yep, You guessed it, the make money while you rest type of offer. But let's be clear about one thing. In order to have great success with an evergreen offer, it is critical to live launch the offer you want to put on evergreen more than once. This is because a live launch allows you to get real-time feedback from your audience, which means you can adjust on the fly to position your program better, pivot, and make quick adjustments to help people see the greatest value and benefits of your offer. Without having this nailed down before you transition to evergreen often means leaving money on the table and potential prospects left to find another solution that will fit their needs because you haven't put the time or effort into making sure they understand your value proposition. Live launches often have a higher perceived value, so don't be fooled by thinking your offer is better suited for evergreen, especially when you are just getting started offering a digital course or membership. You are in this for the long haul, my friend, so take advantage of live launching a few times to make sure you can convert at the rate you are comfortable with before ever going evergreen. Here is what is important about today's episode. This is not the A to Z guide of how to set up your live launch. I offer that to my one-on-one clients. However, this is a behind the scenes to help you start thinking about your live launch plan and how you will create your own profitable live launch funnel prior to going evergreen. Then next week in episode 25, the part 2 portion, I will share with you a framework to help you transition to evergreen. Clearly, we have lots to cover, so open up the Notes app on your phone or just turn the volume up if you are driving or on a run. So the first thing that needed to be created when planning out my client's live launch is setting up the dates. My client and I decided that her cart would open on May 7th and she would close cart on May 10th. From there, we set dates for her 5-day challenge, the daily training she would use to pitch her program. Okay, sweet. Now that those dates are set on the calendar, we could work backward to build her pre-launch calendar. We know that at least 30 days prior to open cart, which would be May 7th for her, we had to be intentional with the content she was creating and the messages she was sharing so that when it came time to invite people to join her 5-day challenge, they would be excited to jump in and open to the idea of joining her program. So, we created a content calendar to support all of these items. Once the dates were set, my client and I worked on the details of her 5-day challenge. We devised a plan for what topic would be covered on each day of her training, how we would incentivize people to consume the training each day and keep their attention. This included things like bonuses for people that joined live, special giveaways for those who consistently showed up to the training and engaged in the comments during the challenge week. Now, it is worth taking a pause to note that the reason we take the time to set all of this in motion well in advance of her training days and open cart period is so that my client has a plan for how her launch week will go. She knows exactly what bonuses she is offering so that she can effectively provide value during her training and confidently pitch her program when it comes time without having to worry about what topic she is covering on what day, what emails to send out to who, or the bonuses she is offering to engage her audience. Every email I write for her is set up inside of her email service provider well in advance so that her emails get precisely sent at the exact right date and time to guide people towards buying. This way, she can focus on serving at the highest level with confidence and less stress, which for this client resulted in a fun launch with big results. The email service provider I love is ConvertKit. ConvertKit allows you to automate your email sequences, launch funnels, and even create attractive landing pages. Check the show notes for a link to try ConvertKit free for your first 1,000 subscribers. Speaking of landing pages, after the dates were set and her challenge topics were ready, it was time for me to go to work creating her marketing content. By marketing content, I mean the landing pages, like her sales pages, the email campaigns, and the copy that is used for each of those pieces of content. For starters, her high converting landing pages. Now, I covered the 3 essential elements of a high converting landing page, that's the name, in episode 3, so you can check out that episode to learn more about what you will need to boost your landing page conversion rates and hear examples of my own landing pages, and I've included links to client examples that have increased conversion rates from 20 to 60%. So you can check it out. The emails for this launch started with invitations to join her training. The training would take place inside of her 30,000 plus member Facebook community because she had an active group that was full of her ideal customers for her paid offer. The thing we will spend more time on next is moving her Facebook group members over to her email list. At the time of her launch, her email list was about 1/6 the size of her Facebook group, which means there is a large opportunity to convert more of her Facebook group if we can encourage them to join her email list prior to launch week instead of just being a Facebook group member. Attention-grabbing headlines, which I covered in episode 18, were used to remind her email subscribers of the 5-day challenge and offer them reasons to join using personal stories, testimonials, and success stories. My favorite way to do this is to use the comments from Facebook group members as social proof that people are really loving the training. If you are creating your email campaigns for your launch week on your own, it will take some time for you to craft your emails and set up the automation to guide your audience along the customer journey from your own 5-day challenge to your live launch offer while nurturing them, creating buzz and urgency, which in turn increases conversion rates. I used an advanced email sequence campaign for this client's launch, sending multiple emails over a 2-week period, starting with her challenge invitation emails and ending with her final cart close, that last-ditch effort reminder emails that get sent on the last day of your cart close for those people who watched the training. When I say multiple, I mean a total of about 18 emails. If you are just starting out, you can start with a beginner email funnel that would only consist of creating and sending about half that many emails. Just remember, on the day of your cart close, if you're feeling up to it, you will want to send no less than 3 emails. 1 in the morning, 1 towards the middle of the day, and 1 about an hour prior to cart close to remind your subscribers that, hey, this offer is expiring. You better jump on it quick. This particular client's funnel was delivered through a 5-day challenge and a 4-day open cart period. With a live launch challenge, my client could afford to do a shorter open cart period because she was actively live teaching inside of her Facebook group. If you try this style of launch, you could also create a dedicated pop-up group if you don't have an existing Facebook group. But the reason I love this style of launch is because you get to spend more time warming up your audience, teaching them an overview of your framework, giving them quick wins every day, building a relationship with them, and your attendee has more opportunities to learn from you versus just using a webinar to live launch with where you might only get about an hour of time with your attendee. So you can probably imagine the deeper connection you could build in 5 days versus 1 hour on a webinar. All right, so we covered the launch calendar, the launch vehicle, her 5-day challenge, the marketing content, the emails used to encourage people to join the challenge, and landing pages to convert them. Now, let's talk about the launch period and her results. So if you are tracking with me, this client used a 5-day free training to cover the framework of her paid offer, teasing her program slightly every day. On the 5th day of her training, she started pitching her program. On the 6th day was a live Q&A followed by 2 days of sharing testimonials and success stories inside of her community. Her 7th and 8th day were spent doing more Q&A and sharing content that crushed the objections of those who were not enrolled yet. Each day she had supporting marketing emails I crafted and integrated into her email service provider ConvertKit in advance to illuminate, captivate, and motivate her audience to enroll in her program while the offer was still on the table. Overall, she had 18 total emails with an average open rate of 32% and a 3% click-through rate. The industry average for conversion rate for an email list is about 1%. This was only the second time launching this program, and with my help, her email list converted at a rate just about 3%. She closed cart with more sales than she made last time and close to 2 times the students enrolled in her program than she did during her previous live launch. Interested to hear what we learned? Okay, perfect. We're going to cover that next. Her 5-day challenge, followed by a 4-day open cart enrollment period, did a great job of serving with value first, creating urgency second, and thirdly, leading people to her offer swiftly. Her core offer is attractive and even converted a cold audience because by having proper tracking in place that I set up, we knew that 27% of her buyers just joined her email list prior to her 5-day challenge. Her audience was delighted by 3 of her bonuses, and 1 did kind of fall flat. So this one we will tweak for the next launch. With a proper launch strategy, she was able to articulate her offer very clearly and have an automated way to remind her audience of the offer details, which resulted in more sales. Those are her words, not mine. The tech wasn't a problem for her anymore because I set it all up for her. And watch this. Because we accurately tracked the behaviors of her training attendees, like how many people watched, the number of views on her landing page, what emails converted, and which ones weren't as strong, she now has data to steer her marketing efforts in the future. Which means when we go to live launch her program again, we will know, okay, email number 8 wasn't as strong as email number 9. So let's rewrite number 8, but we can keep email number 9. And the same holds true for her training and the bonuses. She knows which training topic people really loved, which ones pulled on the heartstrings, which ones connected, and the bonuses that made people grab their credit card and enroll immediately. This is what happens when you have me guiding your launch plan. I'm not here to make launching complicated. With smart systems, launching can be easy and really fun. So if you are wanting to work together one-on-one for your upcoming launch, I will not steer you wrong, my friend. Live launching with a challenge is just one way that works for this client because of her offer, her price point, and her engaged community. But there are a handful of other ways you can still create a runway for a profitable course or membership launch. reach out to me at lizbohr.com and see if working together might benefit your business and energize your life. Okay, as we wrap up, let's dive into your action steps. Consider a 5-day challenge inside of your Facebook group or a pop-up Facebook group to live launch your program. It's a fun and engaging way that doesn't require a lot of tech to live launch until you see consistent results and you convert at a rate you feel good about. Next, if you aren't hiring a team, take the time to update your live launching marketing materials, like the ones I shared with you inside of this episode 24, to make sure your content is compelling and relevant. As you start, pay close attention to your training day show-up rates and your conversion rates, especially before you move to evergreen, which we will cover in part 2 in episode 25 next week of this 2-part series. This will allow you to feel confident transitioning your offer to evergreen. And be patient with yourself. Don't go evergreen before you are ready. Tracking your data takes some time, especially if you are a one-woman or one-man show. But it is so worth it to know that you aren't spinning your wheels on the wrong things. Can I get an amen? Be sure to head to the show notes, lizbohr.com/episode 24 to grab all of the links and see examples of everything we discussed here. lizbohr.com/episode 24. That is all for now. I will be back next week to cover part 2, transitioning to evergreen, in episode 25. Bye, friend.